Hey, this is Steve Domenico in the Room podcast. Again, third time this week. Tonight we have a special guest, the first time interviewing this young MMA fighter. Magic Mike Murray joins us in the Room podcast for the first time, calling from California. Mike, man, welcome to the show for the first time, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, you've been all over the place. I mean, you fought back in Neff. Then you went a week later, fought in, I think, Florida, second fight in a week. And then, not too long after that, you're flying off to California to go serve your country and do some stuff in the service. Talk about that, brother, and what's been going on the last, 5, 6, 7 months?
Yeah, well, you can't forget, I had those back-to-back fights, right? I think it was like the 8th and then the 15th of February. And then exactly a month after that February 8th card, I flew home to get married on March 8th. and then we came out to California 2 or 3 weeks after that. So yeah, pretty busy stuff, dude. It's been nonstop. And like as soon as we got here, a lot of the stuff I've had to do with like the Marine Corps and stuff has been nonstop as well. So
excellent. Got married, dude. You're 22 years old, correct?
Yeah.
How old's the missus?
She is also 22.
She's 38, Steve. How long have you guys been together? Since high school, way before high school? Like how long you been together?
Yeah, it was right after high school. We both graduated, and then it was that like June, and we started talking. So it's been 4 years, like give or take a few days. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Congratulations, brother. I've been following you on Instagram a lot. I mean, it looks like you're having fun. You're riding bikes out in California. Is that something that you guys you've done in Maine? Like, is that one of your passions to get on that bike and ride?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Myself and Zach Richards share that passion there for motorcycle. But I saw you're trying to get your license or something.
Yeah. I'm looking into. I'm sorry, I just had my volume up. Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm thinking of getting a big time Harley so I can go up to the Maine, take a ride for the weekend, and But I need a license. I can't get locked up in New Hampshire and Maine if I fucking, you know what I mean. I'm old, but I'm a little rebel, so I can get in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but no, for sure, it's definitely a passion. No, it started though like as soon as I got done with all my like basic schooling and everything with like the Marines. As soon as I got to my first duty station, I was like, hey, like I've been wanting to buy a bike and learn how to ride and stuff. So it was literally within a few months, I bought my first bike, had it for a couple months, and then went and got my license. So, but I've been riding for like the past 3 years.
That's exactly what I'm probably going to end up doing. My buddies at work are saying one of my buddies told me he rode on what is it? What do they give you before a permit for like 20 years?
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I got 2 buddies. Well, one is taking the course as we speak. Like today, I think it's either today or tomorrow he graduates. But I got another buddy that bought a bike today, and doesn't have a license. So it's a common way to do it. It's a popular way to do it. Buy a bike and then
they're not pulling you over for riding a bike without a license nowadays, man. They're not bothering you for that shit. Dude, man, let's talk a little bit about fighting. I know it's been everyone's been on lockdown. How has it been in California? I know you're out there training with doing your thing. You're married, hanging around. How is the training going? Have you been getting that in? Because it's been difficult in Rhode Island and New England that as far as these fighters getting together. How you been managing to stay busy and stay active on that side?
It is more difficult, and it's not really the COVID thing. That has very little to do with it. As soon as I got here, I was already talking to my coach, like through text and stuff. If you guys are familiar with Kyle Stewart, he was in the UFC. He's fighting for LFA right now. He's a Marine that used to be stationed here as well. And so that's how I kind of like got to that coach. I was like, I follow this Marine that is a UFC fighter. I sent him an Instagram message, and I was like, yo, like, I'm going to 29 Palms soon. Like, what are the where can I train and stuff. And he sent me to this guy, and his name's Mark Galecko. He's a super awesome guy, great coach. Started talking to him a few months before I got out here, and as soon as I got out here, they were all obviously closed. Everybody, all the gyms. But he was like, dude, come by the gym, and I'll hook you up with some mats so you can at least grapple with some buddies at your, in your garage or something. So I had that set up for a little bit, and then after that, a couple weeks later, they opened up the gym to like 10 people at a time. So we started working, our Muay Thai again, and I mean, I've been super busy with the Marine Corps, but besides the Marine Corps, the COVID and the Corona thing is not really. That's not what's the problem. I got all the training in the world right here, right on base.
Excellent, my friend. Well, we were talking a little off, before we started the show about what's been going on and kind of what you've been, looking for as far as if a fight comes down the line where you are, that you can jump in there. So you're fight ready in a few weeks. If something was, say, you had an opportunity in California somewhere, are you ready to fight? Could you jump on a card in a few weeks?
Absolutely. I mean, I would. Ready is a weird word. Like, I think maybe just crazy enough to get on a card. I think is really the way I would describe it. It's more or less just trying to get the experience. I'm not like, I'm not trying to protect an O or anything like that anymore. So it's really like just trying to get that experience and try to get like as many fights in the amateur ranks right now. Because it doesn't really, it doesn't matter. A lot of people think it does. It doesn't though. It's like, just get as many fights in amateur. And then when it's time to go pro, that's when we start taking it. I wouldn't say more seriously because I do take this serious. But it's just like, you're just trying to protect that record a little bit more when you go pro,
Yeah, exactly. They all count then, my man. All right, Mike, how did we get the name Magic? You're 3-2. Was Magic given to you on your... Actually, I saw your amateur debut. I was actually cage side for that. I wish I had more time getting ready for the show because I would have got that because it was pretty cool to watch you cage side. Get your first win because I think you jumped right over the cage above me or something, right around me somewhere. But we'll get that out another time, man. How was that? I mean, making your Emmy debut and.
Well, that's your picture right there. The one that you're talking about.
Is that my picture?
Is that? Yeah, it might be, dude.
That might be my fucking picture, man.
Hey, this is the one that was in the newspaper and everything. It's literally was on like the headline of it. I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of notifications.
No, that's all right, man. No worries. You're a popular guy, dude. Yeah, it must be because you're on the podcast.
It is, yeah. I'm getting, yeah, but yeah. So the nickname comes from I used to do magic, and I do it, here and there, but I used to do magic, so it was always funny. I'm sure you guys know the movie, the Magic Mike movies, and it was just funny. My name's Mike. And I did magic, so, and then like that name would always get thrown in there, So it was just kind of funny, and it kind of stuck because everybody's always called me Magic Mike ever since I was doing that. So the nickname had to be there.
Well, being in magic, you got to be a showman, and it shows like in your walkouts and in your fights, and you just before the fight, is that something that you thrive in? Is being in the spotlight and being able to kind of express yourself that way?
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I think it's fun. It is definitely. I told you before. I think I'm super theatrical, so that's why like with a few hours left to go on this podcast, I've made a quick video and threw it up there because it's kind of like I don't know. I like being really. I don't know. You said spotlight. Yeah, I guess that's accurate. It's true. But yeah, for sure, it's a lot of fun. I don't know. It's exhilarating. It's kind of like an adrenaline rush.
I can imagine. But, well, you've been. Yeah. I mean, did you perform doing magic, or was it just something you did as a hobby? Did you get up there and do like shit in front of people? Like, can you give us a magic trick anyway? You got some cards with you right now, Mike?
You have no idea the cards I have.
He's gonna fucking rabbit in a hat right now. He's gonna fucking pull it out.
No, I wish I was gonna prepare something for it, but yeah, no, it was more of a hobby. Did a few like very like birthday parties, stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
We did. We auditioned for America's Got Talent one time, so that was interesting. But we went all the way to New York for that.
Jesus, so you're fucking, you can make things disappear. You're not just some guy that like, pulls a deuce out of the back of someone's ear. You can make shit fucking levitate and stuff, right?
Yeah, there's videos. You go on the Instagram, you can find the videos. There's all kinds of stuff on it.
I'm definitely digging deep after this podcast, brother. I'm going in for that shit. So, bro, let's talk about fighting, my man. How you got to where you are. I mean, where'd you start as far as fighting? What's your background as far as that?
So if we were to go way, way back, I used to do Taekwondo in Michigan. Very young, like super young. Not really. I think I was like a green belt or something. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you like the belt structure of it, but I was a green belt, I'm pretty sure. And so I did that, and that's why you see I'm a Muay Thai guy now as far as striking. But it's still, you can still see that karate stance just because like it's very like ingrained into me. So trying to like mix the two and have, like a perfect mixed martial artist stance, I guess, and way. But yeah, and then we moved out to Maine and we started doing judo. We did judo back in Michigan as well. And then I got into a jiu-jitsu gym as well. And myself and my buddy Nate were doing jiu-jitsu all the way up for like the last 2 or 3 years that I was in Maine. Then I went out to boot camp, went through the training and all that. Couldn't really train, but then I came back. I went to Georgia and started training Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu with Chris Costed over there in his gym, Camden Combat. Learned a lot. That's where like I guess I started the MMA. I'd always wanted to get into it, and I have messages talking to Matt Peterson from when I was like 16, telling him I'm like, hey, put me on the card. Like I want to be the youngest fighter, and it's obviously he can't put a child in there, so I'm like, yo, and like I'd like message him every year. He's like, get back to me when you're 17, and then like the law changed and it was 18 again or something, and so yeah, I was trying to like fight for the NEF for a long time, but then it finally ended up happening when I got to Georgia, and it's just a perfect, I guess, all the stars aligned kind of thing, where it was I was already planning on coming home in June because my birthday is June 19th, and then that first card that I fought on was June 22nd, I think. So it all just made sense. I was going to take leave on my birthday, and then there we go.
Excellent, my man. I mean, you're juggling a lot of stuff, man, and you're getting it done. As far as fighting, what was it? Was it your third fight? You got the opportunity to fight for the lightweight amateur title against Zach?
Yeah. I think
you moved up. I mean, that's a big task. I mean, I think Zach probably had about 6 fights or something, and that was your third fight. And fighting for a title, was that a lot on your back to jump in there? And go for a title so early in your career. I mean, it was probably your third fight of 2019 too, correct?
Yeah, third anything. I mean, I did jiu-jitsu tournaments a lot before that, but this was like literally June first fight, and then September was that second fight, and then I hadn't even got off the plane yet. Going back to Georgia, and I was already getting like potential, like Matt was like, hey, you're in the top 4 or 5 for the belt. If these guys fall out, you're going to be next. And I was like, all right, cool. So I think it was Mo. I don't know what is his last name?
Mo Kanani?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I think him, it was Devin Corson, Zach, and that might have been it, and then myself. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm down. And then I found out that it was going to be Devin and Zach. And I was like, dude, I want this. Like, I called Matt up. I was all mad and stuff. I was like, dude, I was like, I don't care.
Matt, I've been calling you since I was 16, dude. Give me this fight.
Yeah. I was like, come on, man. And so then, yeah, apparently something happened there. And for whatever reason, Devin had to pull out. And then I got the call a few days later, stepped in. And, I mean, I'd always respected Zach, and I always liked him because I have a buddy that trains with his coach as well. So Devin, I always liked Devin, therefore I always respected Zach as well. But as far as like stepping in there and like feeling the anxiety or the anxiousness or whatever, nervous, I was like, whatever. I mean, it's just another fight. Like I said, like amateur is just it's literally to get experience. Throw a belt on it. It looks cool, whatever. But I mean, it's all for fun, I'm over here just having a good time.
Excellent.
And that was an extremely fun fight. I mean, a lot of people probably looked at it, and it was a lot of grappling and stuff. So I understand how that could be boring to some people, but because we did get a lot of crap for that, both him and I. So
Well,
I was like, whatever, dude. It was a fun fight.
I watched the fight again today, and like
Yeah.
you said, it was a fun fight. It was a lot of grappling, but there was a lot of a lot of transitions in between there. I mean, Zach was using his wrestling against you. You were trying to use your jiu-jitsu game and get it back to your feet so you could exchange. But getting with them wrestlers, man, they stay with their game and they keep you down there and grind you. But you grinded through 5 rounds. I mean, very impressive for your third fight, getting in there a title, and especially Zach is pretty seasoned, even though his career isn't. He didn't start out way before you. He's just got a lot of fights under his belt, just like you, 3 or 4 months, and then you jump back in there for Neff again, which I was at that fight. Then you go after, talk about that from what you learned from the Zach fight to that next fight.
Uh, I don't think. I mean, so taking from that fight from Zach, I like walking away from it. I was obviously like down about it or whatever, but I totally, out of any fight that I had ever, been in, which was only 3 at the point, or at the time, I was like, man, I learned so much just in the whole time, like one of the biggest things I took from it was just being able to adapt. Like I didn't adapt at all in that fight. I just kept doing the same exact things. I think he's even talked about it, and he was like, dude, he just kept doing the same thing. And I'm like, I watched that fight again. I'm like, dude, he is so right. Like I'm talking about Zach. He's right. Like I just kept doing the same things and not correcting myself throughout the fight. That's one thing that I took from that, and then went straight into that Tim Birkenhead fight. And I took that fight this is why I like leaving the venue. I think it was Aura, whatever. Leaving that venue from the Zach fight, I saw the little poster on Matt's laptop cage side, and I like saw it. I'm like, all right, I want to do that one. It looks dope. It's gonna be in the Merrill Auditorium. I was like, I want to fight in that. So I was like, yeah, give me a fight, and they got Tim, and I mean, I had heard he was a wrestler, or no, I heard he's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and I think I saw or heard that he was a wrestler as well. So that's where we started, like, grinding, sprawling and stuff like that, and getting out of that situation. But man, I totally slept on his jiu-jitsu, and I definitely shouldn't have.
You were in pretty good you were in a pretty good spot early in that fight, correct?
Yeah, I totally messed that up too. So I messed it up by an illegal kick to the head. It was supposed to be like a push away, I was just trying to like, I guess, push myself away from him using his head, and it does look like I kicked him, and I guess I did. I kicked him in the head, but so they stood us up, and I was in a pretty decent position, but I messed that up, and we got stood up from that. He was definitely winning the end of that round, I'm pretty sure, and then the second round, he was just like, I don't know what I was doing, man. I think I was even winning that second round, and then I watch it a lot. Like I watch that fight all the time just to see like what happened, and it's just weird, like how we got to the center of the cage and I like rolled around, and then he was like on my knee, cranking my leg back, and I was like, all right. I wasn't even gonna tap, like, so I was like, whatever. I will literally let my leg break, and then it like flashed in my head, hey, dude, you have a fight next week.
Yeah,
like, exactly. All right.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Which, when you got up, you had a little limp, of course. I mean, you know, that lock is immediate, and if you don't tap right away, you can serious damage. You had a little limp, and then I saw you after I think in Buffalo Wild Wings because there was a fight on that night. And I asked you how the leg was, and you said it was good. And then you had to fight the following fucking week in Florida. And then you were on social media going, "Hey, this, you know, not like you know, saying anything bad. You were just like, hey, dude, this is like real fighting. You know, I get a fucking leg locked, you know, and I'm right back on it fighting in Florida the next week, man. What'd you feel like heading to that fight in Florida? Now you're not in your hometown, kind of your crowd. You're coming off a loss, and now you're heading to fucking Florida to fight. What's going through your mind for that?"
Well, to say I wasn't in my hometown, definitely it didn't feel like that because we brought a lot of Marines, and you know, I wouldn't say I was the favorite one because that was my opponent's like actual hometown, but we were significantly louder than anyone else. Yeah, dude, it was crazy. We had, I don't remember how many dudes roll up. It was like a 5 or 6 hour ride from our base, from where we're stationed, and a bunch of my buddies bought tickets, and they just rolled up, man. We had a really good time. It was a scary. I mean, we went the whole 3 rounds, and it was a close fight. My coach was absolutely like dead set by the time like they, you know, the bell dinged or whatever. He came in. He was like, "You won," and I was like, "It was close." He's like, "Nah, you won," and I'm like, "Ah, man." And then they said by split decision, and then like that pause or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they said my name, and I was like, all right, that's sweet. And then the place just went nuts. All my boys were just going crazy.
Back with the W, man. So that, you know, that raises your hopes. I mean, just like you said earlier, amateur. I mean, it's not about wins and losses, the experience. But going through another 3-round grueling fight after coming off, you know, a loss like that, man, what did that fight do for you that's helping you now get ready?
It definitely it boosts your confidence for sure. I mean, Peter, the guy, my last opponent was 3-0. So, I mean, that's really to boost your confidence, you know. That's just something like I'm not out here trying to take the easy fights regardless. I've been telling you, like, I'm doing it all for the experience. And, I mean, you can go on my record and be like, look at all the guys he's beat and be like, okay, he's been fighting, like, hard dudes, you know?
Yeah.
Tim is now 2-0, or unless he's had a fight since. I don't think he's had a fight since.
No, he's 2-0. But he's a legit, I mean, he's training with elite level fighters over there. You got Joe Giannetti,
and then this Peter dude was 3-0 until I fought him, and then so I mean, like, my confidence drops, I guess, when I lost those 2 fights, you know, against Zach and then Tim. It for sure was like I was down in the dumps for about a week or 2, or maybe longer. I don't know. You can ask my loved ones. I was definitely, you know, bumming about it. But like I can look back at those fights and be like, dude, they were hard dudes. You know, I didn't lose it to no, like, you know, just walk in the park. So it definitely is a boost though when I beat a guy that's 3-0 in his hometown.
Definitely. Well, my man, we're gonna move to a little New England. You talked about that. You know, in another month or so, if something happens in California, you'll get a fight around there or something. But eventually you're going to be making your way back here. Before you left, my man, there was some, you know, you were adamant about a fight you want, a Neff fight. Is this something you're still looking for? Do you want to talk about that? I'm going to put the rankings up. I mean, we can talk about who's in these rankings here as far as, is lightweight where you want to be? I mean, you fluctuating, but where do you want to be as far as, you know, when all said is done, is all said and done here?
I think the majority of the fights that I would like to do are in lightweight. Where I come after deployment, I don't know. I may be a lot bigger, might be maintained, whatever. I would like to do lightweight. I really like that division, not just in the NEF or not just, you know, regionally, but all the way up into the UFC as well. Like I like that division up there as well, and I want to set myself up for that someday. So for sure, lightweight is something I like to you know, play around in. I'm not opposed to doing catch weights or, you know, welterweight. My first fight was welterweight, and then went down to lightweight. But I'm down with pretty much anything in that range. And I would even I'd like to say I'd like to try and do a 145 fight like once. You know, I hear that cut is like super super bad, but I'd like to try it out. I don't know who, but because I really don't have my mind set on anybody at 145.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Sure, yeah.
you got a beast at Pags there that he's tall like you, probably tall like you, and he gets down to 145. So that's someone to talk to about how he friggin' cuts down and does it, man. On this list here, brother, I mean, we talked about Muhammad, and he's close to going pro. He had that
Yeah.
one. He was gonna have that one fight for Cage Titans for the title there, and then imagine going pro. That fight didn't happen because COVID. So we don't know where he stands. He's number one, and then you got Medina, who actually beat Mo, I think around this weight a while back or a couple of years back. And then you got Matt Bina, who that dude's held 3 titles at the same time. He's won the Cage Titans amateur lightweight. And then you got Nate White, another young guy like you. And then I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom because you mentioned Devin Corson. Now, dude, you're 3-2. He's 3-1. Do you think you should be in these rankings? What is your thought on here? Where do you think you stand? And what's a potential, if you came back to New England, who on this list would you want to go against?
I mean, everybody knows Nate and I have this little beef. So that's definitely a fight that has been interesting to me. I've been super interested in that first, since I started. I called him out in September, but I don't know. I'm almost grateful that he's been kind of just avoiding it. I won't say he's avoiding it, but he is. Okay. And to me, it's building it a little bit more because eventually we're going to fight. He's even admitted, he said, he agreed to it. And, Between the Rounds,
okay,
podcast, Ryan's podcast, I think.
Yeah.
He agreed to it there. So, and I think he said sometime in 2021, and that'd be great. It's going to be towards the end though, because I do deploy and I have a job to do. So after that, I'll do that. And then I'll come home and maybe take a fight and then fight him, or maybe he'll be the first one back or whatever. We've been it was a little bit more hostile back a couple months ago, but we've been a little bit more chill and laid back. And that's definitely, I mean, I'm willing to bring it back to however make the fight happen. I just was calling him out, I think that's a good thing to do. He even said in one of his interviews that it's not a smart move, or it wasn't I don't know. Nobody at our rank or our level should be calling people out. I'm like, all right, well then, at what point in your career do you start calling people out? When do you feel like you're, I guess whatever, good enough or whatever, I guess. But I think it was fun. I like the rivalry. I like the challenge. So I don't know. And like I told you, I'm fighting dudes that are a lot more experienced and a lot harder to fight. So I think I'll be a lot more prepared. He's 5-0 against guys that are 0-12, 0-3, 0-2, 0-2, 5-9. I'm sorry, dude. I got more guys I have more experience that are fighting me, and I'm still winning those fights. Even if I'm losing the fights, I'm still getting more experience than you. You know what I mean?
Well, Nate says, let's do it. I know,
Yeah.
I know, Matt Peterson's been behind. I'm sure he wants to put this fight together. I'd love to see it if you guys are willing to do it, I would love to see it at the amateur ranks, rather than the professional ranks, because it would, you two guys are studs. It'd be nice to see you guys, launch somewhere and then maybe fight, get it over with in the AMI fights, and maybe for some kind of belt or something. I mean, you're going to get another fight before this happens. He might have another fight before this happens. So that's another win under both of your columns there. So that could be for a very, very, very hyped up Neff card and fight there, huh, bro?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you're talking to him or me, but it's definitely going to be a big one for sure.
Excellent. Well, no one be adding 3-2 to that list of wins. What's I don't know what that meant. Nate's talking to you right now. You'll read it. You'll read the comments later and answer them to her, man. Well, my man, anything else you wanna talk about or say? Anything you want to get out there before I let you go, man? Because it's been a pleasure talking to you and seeing your back history, because this is the first time I had you on the show, but it's been a pleasure, man. Anything else you want to talk about or throw out there?
I mean, we'll have to make an entirely new podcast to give all the shout outs to everybody I'd like to, but I'll just try to like generalize it and sum it up. Just my coaches, all my sponsors, my family, my wife. Trying to think of everybody. I think that covers the basic gist. All my boys, my homies, just give them a shout out. Definitely wouldn't be here or doing any of this without any of them. So,
hey,
yeah, glad.
You got the wife in. That's the most important thing. Everyone else, you can make that up. You can.
She complained about the last time I did that. Literally in my post-fight interview, he was like, blah blah blah, and then I'm like, I go down the list of everybody. He's like, anybody else?
You gotta put the ring out. You just gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure someone has it. Like your best man carrying it around. Here you go, Mike. Put it on.
But, yeah.
All right, my man, dude. It's been a pleasure, bro. I mean, if something gets going on in California, you get a fight going, or let me know. I'll have you on. We'll talk. We'll talk about that, man. And good stuff, bro.
Will do. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, my man. There we go. Magic Mike Murray. Explained it all tonight. How he got magic. He was a magician at one time. What he's doing in California and who he wants in New England is no surprise. So, Mike, thanks again for coming on, bro. And especially thank you for that fucking... that's the first F-bomb I threw this whole show, man. That's a record right there of minimal F-bombs in a show. But I appreciate you did a wonderful job on that promo video saying that you're going to be on the show. No one's ever done that coming on the show. Man, why don't you make one for me every week? I'll just send you who's going to be on the show, and you can make fucking something. I'll put your name. Magic Mike made this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
something
for
else.
Sure.
All right, brother. You have a great night, man, and have a great weekend coming up, okay?
You as well.
Hey, don't leave yet. I'm going to broadcast off, and then we'll talk, all right?
All right, sounds good.
All right, New England, we out of here. Magic Mike Murray. Great job, bro. Woo, I'll play your intro again.